If you're training for your first fight, there are things nobody warns you about, and they matter more than your conditioning. When I went into my first fight, I overestimated the impact a weight cut would have on my mind and body. I thought it would be more fine than it actually was. It wasn't anything unbearable, but it affected me a lot more than I thought it would. Like, even on just a small weight cut, dehydrating and then rehydrating, only just like 24 hours apart, your body doesn't fully adapt back to normal. It's never like 100%. Like, if you've ever been dehydrated before, you sort of feel like high. Like, your mind just feels different. Your vision feels different. The way you perceive things is a little different. You can't exactly think as clearly, as calmly. I would say personally, I'm a bit more impulsive when I'm dehydrated. I had a pretty big impact going into the fight because my mind hadn't fully adjusted yet. It still sort of felt like it was on dehydration mode, even though I had rehydrated. I also underestimated how I would react when I got rocked, like for real rocked. Not like light sparring, you get tapped, getting hit with like a proper shot, like one that actually hits. I still wouldn't say exactly that it hurts, but like you feel the impact, and it's a lot different to sparring. Like, I remember when I got my first proper liver shot in that fight, first time I'd ever been hit in the liver. Hadn't even been hit in the liver in sparring, like lightly. I got like a proper shot to the liver. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty fucking good at keeping a poker face during that. Like, I showed no expression on my face whatsoever when I got hit by that shit. But bro, on the inside, I was like, fuck. Like, shit, man, I was fucking screaming. That shit hit. Bro, and then you're just like going on the rest of your fight, feeling that one spot on your body. It's sort of just always in the back of your mind. Like, every now and then you can sort of feel it while you're trying to focus on other shit. Some of the mistakes I made leading up to this fight. Some things I regret that I wish I did differently. I know for a fact I definitely should have been sparring more leading up to the fight. Obviously, during fight week, I think everyone can agree that you probably shouldn't be sparring at all. Or if you are going to be, you should be doing very light sparring and reduce it down how much you do it. But leading up to my fight, I was not sparring anywhere near as much as I should have been. I should have been refining my technique, getting a bit more used to, should have been getting myself more mentally ready for being in a fighting situation, like in a boxing situation. But I kept putting it off. I would only do it every now and then when I really felt like it, which is the wrong idea. I should have been doing it consistently leading up to the fight. I definitely think it would have helped a lot. Because the more you actually get used to being in a spar, like replicating an actual boxing fight, the more it's obviously going to transfer over to your actual fight. And if you're not willing to do it in sparring, then that's going to show in the ring. The difference between someone who did and didn't is the person who's done it more is obviously going to be more used to that situation. Another thing I wish I did on fight week is I wish I actually used my holiday pay or just took more time off to actually focus on my training. Obviously, this isn't going to apply to everyone, but if you are working a full-time job like a lot of people are, or even part-time, or you got school on or something, if you are able to, at least try to. I definitely recommend taking some days off before the fight, preferably a week, but obviously a lot of people can't do that. I only had one day off before my fight, and the rest of the week I was working essentially 10-hour shifts. So my mind wasn't fully focused on the training like it should have been, on the fight like it should have been. You need to be 100% dialed in. Like, this needs to be your entire focus for the days leading up to the fight. This is why a lot of professional fighters have training camps and they go elsewhere from their usual life. So they just have a full clear mind, just fully dialed in on what they're doing for the days leading up to the fight. And it matters the most, obviously, on the week of the fight. So if you can at least get that week in, that's going to matter a lot. It also plays into that whole mentality of embracing a different persona, I guess. It doesn't necessarily have to be like Mamba mentality or something, but having a fighter's mentality, just for that week at least. Just fully locked in, thinking about pretty much nothing else but your training and the fight coming up. It also allows you to push further on your workout so you're not as burnt out from other shit in life. Like, if you had a job and you felt tired, obviously after that you're not going to want to train as hard, or you won't be able to. But having some days off, you can pretty much do whatever the fuck you want, and there's no room for excuses. Another thing I wish I did leading up to this fight and during the fight, I wish I went in with a calm mind. Leading up to the fight and during the fight, obviously emotions are going to be pretty high, adrenaline's going to be pumping, all that. You're probably going to feel like you have a lot more energy than you normally do. It's very easy to get caught up in all that. You probably feel a lot more powerful than you actually are, even if you actually are. Regardless of that, what would have helped for me, and a lot of fighters do, is they try to keep a calm mind. What this means is not getting caught up in the moment. If you get rocked by a punch, especially for the first time, it's gonna shake you up a little bit, and your instincts are probably just gonna kick in. You're not gonna be able to think as clearly. You're probably just gonna start swinging. But if you just stay calm, do some breathing exercises, maybe even meditate leading up to the fight, which is sort of what I wish I did. Even though I've never done meditation before, it's definitely something I would consider for next time. So just staying in your head, remembering what you trained for, revisiting the techniques you learned in training or during sparring, staying calm and just making the proper move when it matters the most, because that's what's going to lead to a win. You don't just want to go on with this whole mentality of, oh bro, when I see red, it's all over type shit. Like, you just want to keep swinging and swinging, going for that KO. Especially if you're doing good in the fight. It can go both ways. If you start to think you're doing really good in the fight and then you start swinging, going for that KO, you can get caught up in that also. But the best move is always to remain calm. Think logically. Don't just rely purely on your instincts. And if you're like me, you just came out of a dehydration, weight cut for the first time, your mind isn't going to be completely clear. You're not going to be able to think as clearly during that fight. It's going to be a lot more difficult to stay logical and calm. That's why practice with like meditation or something leading up to the fight could help. Exposing yourself to more of those situations, like light sparring. You get more familiar and more comfortable being in that type of environment. The more you do it, the easier it's going to get. The more comfortable you'll get in those difficult situations, and you'll progressively just get better overall. And what's the reality like on actual fight day? When you've never been in this situation before, you're not 100% prepared, you're doubting yourself quite a bit, your ego's taking over a little bit. You know, conflicting thoughts going through your mind. Everyone is probably way more nervous than they should be. It's completely normal. When I was waiting for my fight and I was spectating the other fights, what I started to notice was everyone was just going for the KO. Like everyone was full force swinging, just lacking technique completely. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie and say I was one of the people that were very nervous leading up to my fight. I was not that nervous. Like there's definitely other situations I've been a lot more nervous in. But when I started to see these people in their fight, swinging, going for that KO, like that shit was influencing my mind a little bit. Like it started to make me think, oh, maybe I should be going for the KO. Maybe we should just be swinging full force. Maybe it's a lot more different when I'm actually in there. And this guy's probably just going to try everything to completely knock me out. And I should maybe do the same. I was having like a lot of self-doubt. Reality was they just let their nerves get the best of them. And it's quite easy to get caught up in other people's nerves also, not just your own. Don't let it influence you if you do start to notice that. And the reality was, it was just an experience to have fun with. It's not that serious at the end of the day. And the more you have fun with it, the better you're probably going to do. So if there's one thing I would change, if I did a fight again, which I will, and if you plan on doing your first fight, it would just be to remain calm and just have fun with it. If you're even thinking of stepping in the ring, you're already ahead of most people. You're doing something most wouldn't be willing to dare to expose themselves to, simply because of the fear and risk it creates. And just by doing so, you've automatically become more respectable to yourself and to the others around you. And you're making yourself capable of a fundamental life aspect of knowing how to fight. I might have lost my first boxing fight, but I learned some things from it that I hope could be useful to you and possibly your first boxing fight or your next one. Or if you're just considering even starting boxing and you just want an insight into what it's actually like. From the little things I learned, I'll use it to win my next boxing fight. So we're just a learning journey from here. If this was useful to you, if you can relate, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe.